Okay, so for today's video, I want to jump into a very quick one about Britain being headed for a digital cashless lock-in. Hear me out. So today, I want to look at something that most people already feel is happening quietly around them: cash disappearing. Not overnight, not with some big sweeping announcement or some policy reform, but through a slow tightening of choices. Whether it's things like banks removing ATMs or just closing altogether, shops refusing cash, services suddenly becoming digital only. The question that we're facing is a simple one. Are we moving to being a cashless society by choice, or is it by design? Go figure. But either way, here's an uncomfortable truth. A cashless society sounds convenient until you realize every single transaction then becomes traceable. It becomes programmable, it becomes controllable, and potentially deniable. Once the last cash option disappears, there's no way back. Once it's gone, it won't be reversed. Banks across the UK continue shutting branches almost weekly. They continue removing ATMs. I think I've lost about 8 ATMs and 3 banks in my local area in the last 3 years. Rural towns are losing access to this entirely. Many fast food chains, things like coffee shops as well, barbers, small businesses, they now refuse cash, whether it's because of insurance or it's because of speed or ease of processing, convenience, or maybe it's just because of staffing. The Bank of England continues development of the digital pound. Now, we've not heard very much about this in the last 12 months. We know that it's going to be a centrally issued, programmable currency, probably held on the blockchain, which is where Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets currently sit. So, cash usage has dropped below 10% of all transactions. That's a huge number. And I know in my local area, then there are no parking meters, or sorry, car parks, where the parking meters are cashless. You have to use Ringo as an app. It's the only app that you can use, or you need to ring a sort of 0800 or 0344 number. That's the only way that you can park there. So some people, if they're on low incomes, maybe if they're elderly, maybe if they're disabled, maybe if they're rural populations and they rely entirely on cash, their options are shrinking monthly. They're being cut off. They're being cut off from society by the nature of things becoming cashless. Once you shift from cash to digital, the government and the banks can, and almost certainly will, be able to freeze accounts. They'll be able to block certain purchases, carbon credit scoring anybody. They'll be able to limit withdrawals, and this is already happening. Go into your bank and see if you can pull out £5,000 of your money. See what they say. I bet that you'll need to do an interview, or rather an interrogation. You'll have to prove that you've not got family locked in a container somewhere, and then you'll have to show multiple forms of ID and justify why you want your own money. You think I'm making it up? Try. I'll wait. They can also set expiry dates. So if you've not spent it by a certain time, maybe you'll lose it. Who knows? And they also will inevitably be able to tie digital payments into all of the multifarious digital ID systems that are going to be incorporated into the digital ID, whether it's the NHS, whether it's DVLA, HMRC, all of it, the whole 9 yards. And the more that society normalizes this paradigm shift, the easier it then becomes for policymakers to then tighten the rules whenever they feel like it. So we have to ask, and we really do have to ask, is this actually progress? Or are we quite literally sleepwalking into a system where financial freedom becomes entirely conditional and also irreversible? it's definitely food for thought. A cashless UK gives incredible and unprecedented control to banks and, more importantly, the state. If every penny that you spend depends on someone else's system working and also approving that spend and allowing you access to your money, then freedom suddenly becomes a service, not a right. Once cash stops circulating, the power balance changes permanently. If you think I'm wrong, drop it in the comments and let me know why. Maybe the real question that we all need to ask is not, is Britain going cashless, but maybe, should we actually let convenience slowly replace autonomy? Before we know it, it's going to be too late. We don't realize what we're about to lose. Let me know below. Drop it in the comments. Really interested to find out your views on this. Are you in any of the groups that I've mentioned? Are you living rurally? Are you disabled? Maybe you don't have access to the same services as easily or as readily as others. How is this going to affect you? Do you believe that cash is king, or I may be a dinosaur and perhaps I need to just embrace the digital age? Who's right? Who's wrong? Who knows? Let me know below. YouTube is going to put another video there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and there'll be another video tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.